word to describe you that is perfection. And I want to know, in your mind, what is the perfection?
Well, I guess it's trying to come as close as you possibly can to perfection. Means like, you don't miss as much. You work really well. It all pays off in the right moments. In the finals, hopefully, it makes you very happy. And I think athletes or people at the very top, they strive for that perfection. Can it ever be achieved? I'm not quite sure, but at least it's a mythical thing that you can keep on chasing, and it makes you become a better player and sometimes also a better person, of course, in the process.
And the perfection is maybe your fans choose for you, and if you have a chance, you have to choose one word to describe yourself. Which kind of the word do you can choose?
I don't know, authentic and honest. I think I enjoy myself on tour. I've always played according to the rules, always fair, and I try to always stay true to myself and to the people and the fans and the media and so forth. That they can relate to me, that they know who I am. I try not to change in all the craziness that I live in, and I hope people feel that. I feel that it is the case, and of course I have to always maintain that, because it's important that they can relate to their athletes.
And where is the motivation for that?
No, I don't get very impatient when I do interviews or when I have to, wait or play matches, and everything's so repetitive sometimes in our sport. I actually don't mind it, I know it's part of what it is. Of course, when I was 12 years old, I didn't think I was going to do this amount of press, this amount of sponsor appearance, this amount of matches, this amount of practice, but it's what it's become, and I actually don't mind it today, because I know I make a lot of people happy, but of course I make myself also very happy that I can still play tennis today. I always wanted to play for a long time, which I have been able to achieve now, and if I can still add a few more years to my career, I'll be also a very happy person.
And we talk about some social media, because in our minds, and you really are King Roger, King Federer, but in the Twitter, Facebook, you show a really different, totally different yourself. It's funny, some fun hashtags, and you make some hashtags that called Photoshop for RF. Where is the idea come from?
I don't know. I just tried to have a good time, and actually social media was something I really started quite late, actually. So I've only started with Twitter a bit over a year ago, Facebook only since a few years. It's something I was very cautious about because I wasn't quite sure of the vibe and the mood on social media, and I didn't think it was always the people using it the right way. I think if you become addicted to your phone or to social media, I don't think it's very healthy. So I really do it sporadically and when I feel it's the right time. And it gives you really a chance to connect with your fans. For me, that's the way I use it. And, maybe give them a bit of how I'm feeling, my mood, and sometimes I'm inspired and I have a good idea. Sometimes it's a bad idea, but actually it's quite a friendly place out there, depending on how you use it. And I think it's working quite well, actually. So I'm happy that I don't have to tweet or post something every single day, because that was not the idea. The idea is to do something when you're in the mood to do it. And I think the followers, they respect that, and I think this way it works much better.
And how much time per day you wasting on the Twitter?
No, not much. No, that's the thing. You can't have it dominate your life, So I think important is that you do some of it, if you're in the mood for it, and if you're not, you don't do it. Clearly, I think of ways sometimes to engage the fans, as well on Instagram and post nice pictures. I like to take nice pictures anyway, and today with the mobile phones, we always have a nice camera with us in some ways, so it's easier to share, and it happens all very quickly, so sometimes it's 5 minutes here or there, which is really not a lot of time to make a lot of people happy.
And what kind of the comments from your fans do you really love to read that?
Well, the thing is, there again, I don't want to scroll through all the messages time and time again, but I do check them out just to see what the vibe is sometimes, so they also know that I'm checking, that I am reading what they're saying, and sometimes I do retweet or I do answer them personally. It's just really to get this communication going on a level that otherwise wouldn't be possible. And I think also it gives me a chance, because I do a lot of media, which I can also connect to the fans, but it's, I think, a more direct line through social media sometimes. So I think it's quite interesting actually, but also I'm still new to it all, so I'm trying to figure it all out. But I heard it's not really allowed here in China, I think, Twitter and Facebook. So Instagram is, I think. So whatever works, and I hope I can make some also Chinese fans happy over here.
And out of the court, we want to know that what are you interested in out of the court? Maybe, for example, maybe some computer games or some special collections, and just like this, I show you something. You remember that?
That's probably a long time ago.
Yeah, I bought this instrument maybe in 2005.
Yeah.
But indeed, I don't like the smell.
Okay.
So why you so back to the interest in what is your instinct for that? Maybe to do a new line of the brand of the
Well, I think it was a great experience for me to do something like that, I must say. But it just became too much, I didn't want the focus to go away from tennis, so unfortunately I had to stop with it, and it's a hard business to be in, I think, the perfume industry, because there's a lot of big players in there, and you need to do a lot of work and a lot of advertising, and it needs a lot of money. So for me, I wanted to now first focus on tennis, then obviously now I have my family, but clearly I'm very interested in a lot of things that go around tennis. I've always been very interested actually in the business itself. For me, that's been important to be interested and not just have other people do it. So I've always been very involved. And then about the traveling, I tried to go see places, art museums, restaurants. I tried to go out and about and for walks. Here in Shanghai, it's a little bit more difficult than in other places, but I am very interested in traveling the world.
I've heard that you have amateur habit. You have amateur habit to collect watch.
I've had a long partner in Rolex over the years. I've been able to own a lot of nice watches with Rolex. I feel very fortunate. They're very friendly and nice to me. And so at the moment, I'm wearing the latest Daytona, which I like very, very much. So I feel very lucky to have this one right now. Some I've received as big gifts for my birthdays, old vintage watches as well, that my wife has organized for me. So, I am interested, but not crazy really. It's very, very natural really.
Yeah, I know that maybe the watch is the best jewelry for a man.
I guess so.
And the last question, and the last question is for a dad. I know you have 4 children, and to be in your mind, what is the best quality if you want to be a super daddy?
Depends again a little bit where you live to a certain extent. What can you do? Is the weather nice or is it cold? All these things. But I like to take my kids out and about because I think staying indoors is, after a while gets a bit boring and it's not quite so exciting. So I think taking them out is something that always works really well for them. I seem more happy. Obviously now we're getting more into the whole educational part, and I think at the end of the day, if you give them love and you give them the warmth that they know you're always there for them and that you care for them, I think that's most important. And now educating them the right way takes a lot of work, but I'm very happy to do it because I want my girls and my boys to be good people later on in life.
Yeah, and when they're babies, maybe something you can do best for them. Maybe, for example, changing the diapers and telling the bedtime stories, and then play some games. What we should do best on that.
Yeah, no, I think it's anticipating all of that is very important. Seeing when does the child need what. And I think as a sportsman, I anticipate on the tennis court or in my life as well, because you don't want to leave up too much to chance for something in life. That I do it as well with the kids. So I feel like I anticipate well, but then again, kids always do their own thing. They change their routines and plans as well as we go along. So you have to be flexible. So it's that half anticipation, half flexibility you need to keep. But I also do believe you need to be somewhat firm with your kids sometimes, that they know there's certain rules to it. And I try to live by example as well, which I think is also key for a child.
And you and America, your kids prefer to play with the food?
Well, we're always with them, so as long as we're with them, they don't mind, you know, as long as somebody's with them, or they can play games with us, they can go out and about with us, and they know we're not there just to be the parents and the tough guys, but we can also be there to have fun, you know, jump in the pool, go crazy, whatever it is. It's important to have a normal life.
Yeah, it's really needed.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, of course. Yeah, my pleasure.
Take care.
Thank you.